Hey guys, Youthful Yields here. Well. What a week. I mean, as you can see here, this is kind of crazy. Every single sector, besides maybe healthcare plans and what is that, apparel, retail, or something like that. Um, but even then, like, these are all red. I have not seen a week like this in a long time, maybe ever, since starting to look at this. So yeah, buckle up. As you know, obviously, the large reason for this is the reciprocal tariffs that Trump announced. If you haven't heard about those, you probably are living under a rock. But yeah, Trump did the reciprocal tariffs, which put a tariff on or added to existing tariffs for a lot of countries. So you can look those up on your own time. But yeah, not very good for the market. So there's a lot of fear going around. But obviously, that's a good and bad thing. So for those people that are trying to retire now, obviously this is a very bad news. But for those that are obviously many years away from retirement, or just even a few years away from retirement, there's nothing to worry about, obviously. And those people that are probably close to retirement know this. There have been many crashes before this, but we've always recovered. So it's gonna, if anything, this is a buying opportunity for people out there. But moving on, let's go straight into the portfolio. Really not amazing, obviously. So hopping straight into it, our current portfolio value on the M1 Finance side is $10,684. We did receive more dividends this week. That was a $59.73 dividend. So that's good. I think, let's see, was that during this week? I believe so. We also received, you can see TQQQ and Coca-Cola dividends. So we received about $6 in TQQQ and about what is that? 1 cent in Coca-Cola, which better than nothing. But yeah, and as a reminder, I'm saving my cash until the end of the month, or not the end of the month, actually in the middle of the month, but basically the time that I always insert my cash, which is the 18th of every month. I don't know why that date occurred. It just was when I started this. So, um, anyways, so yeah, so I'm saving that until we actually do that big bulk of money, just to have DCA like that. There's reasons why, but yeah, basically, there's not much of an impact and this amount of money, anyways. So, getting into it, we can see here that we'll go from least to worst. So, good news is our balanced portfolio is doing better than the rest of the portfolios. We can hop in here real quick and do the same thing here. Least impacted was consumer staples, utilities, and real estate. Consumer staples being obviously Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Procter & Gamble. Worst one was semiconductors, almost 15% down, and energy, 10% down, and financials. Financials is 10% down, so quite a lot. I mean, a lot of these are pretty high. Technology is actually not as bad as I assumed it was going to be, but you can see in here, NVIDIA was 14%, which is under our semiconductors there. So, and you can see AMD was actually 16%. So there's a lot of losers in that sense, but you can see we actually only lost $159, which is good. Compared to the other ones, which we lost 390 and 470 respectively. Going into Qtal, we can see that it would be a lot worse. TQQQ down 28%. Luckily, our BTOL is actually up 3%. And you can see a lot of this has to do with actually the fact that you see how far we are off of the target here, which is very interesting. The main reason this is so far away is actually because we've had, I think, 2 months or maybe 1 month where this hasn't received any funding because we're actually behind on our balanced portfolio. Technically, this shouldn't be 43%. It should actually be 25%. So that's why. And last but not least, 10.5% from a single fund, which is WiMAX, which is just annoying, lovely dovely. You can see here the current price listed on M1 Finance is $11.92, which is extremely low. So yeah, moving on to Webull, we can see we're at $608. And I actually need to update these values in the portfolio, but you can see here that's about a $30 gain, if that. So not amazing, but it is what it is. You can see it was actually up a little bit, and then for some reason it went down. I'm actually kind of surprised this went down. For some reason, MSTR actually stayed up this week. I don't really know why, but So let's go ahead and update this real quick. Oops. So yeah, not a pleasant week for anyone, I'd assume, unless you had some very, very off market plays. And if you did, I'm very happy for you, because that most of the market or most of the people out there are suffering. So yeah. As you can see though, very bad week. We lost about $1,000, which is 8.46%. The plus side of that, I guess, is the market SPY was down 9% apparently. Let's double check that here. 8% on this side, so there's that. I think also the S&P 500 had the largest single drop, or single day drop ever. I think I heard something like that, which is pretty crazy. That would have happened probably right here, about 4 p.m. And then you can see, let's see, going to the third. Yeah, pretty crazy there. But I digress. All it is going to be red for a while. This entire year it's been pretty terrible. If we go from the start of this year downward or down, we can see a sum of negative 26% on our portfolio. Just the month of May, or sorry, not May, I guess just the last month here, negative 18%. So not fun. But, this is, I've been saying this for several weeks now, and maybe it's a lost cause if you want to look at it that way. But realistically, it's if I were to sell now, I'm going to be experiencing so much loss. With some of these, such as WiMAX, they're going to be taking a very big beating. And I really do, it's kind of, there's no diversity in that, which is very scary. So I'm not really sure what to do. I don't want to sell, but yeah, I'm not really sure what to do. Still trying to make up my head, or make a decision in my head, and try to wrap my head around it. But this is the, I think, second worst drop since starting the portfolio. The first one would be here, but that was a weird week where it just kind of flip-flopped. You can see on both of these portfolios, it did that. But yeah, man, I don't know. This week really sucked. I think this is the single worst week ever since we did since we started in September or August for the S&P portfolio by about 2 times, right? So the highest was -4%, but again, it flip-flopped the next week. So maybe we'll see something next week, but I doubt it. Just because this is a very, very big news, right? With all the trade war, tariff stuff being thrown around. I've heard rumors about, China throwing back like a 36 or 38% reciprocal, or sorry, not reciprocal, 38% tariff back at the U.S. So we'll see how this really comes out. Who's going to come out on top? Obviously, economically, I feel like the U.S. is not doing too hot, even outside of the trade tariff stuff. So, and I know that was Trump's intention was to create the jobs, and I've kind of been over this, but I don't know if that's going to really fly with a lot of people out there, and that fear or greed index. Let's see. That is, I don't know if they have. Yeah, look at that. It's quite high, right? So we will see. It's been high. You can see since the last month, but it's an extreme, like 11 and then 21, and we're actually at 4 right now. So very, very high. And yeah. But I digress. You can see, I mean, these are all extreme fear. You can see that a lot of the market is reacting to the news. And yeah, I don't know, man. I wish I had some wise words to say right now, except I don't. I'm just as scared as everyone else, obviously. But the good news is, and I have a lot of time left in my retirement. I don't plan to retire tomorrow. Again, those that do or did, I feel really bad for you, but this is just something that we all have to kind of come to terms with. So there's nothing we really can do to kind of do that, except maybe, diversify a little bit more for those that are in, especially sectors like the technology sector or even just the semiconductors sector in general. I mean, it's down 17% here. So who knows? Who knows? But anyways, guys, that is it from me. And as always, I wish you guys a wealthy future.